Hello to all the aunts, uncles, and dear listeners tuning in to Daily Health Advice. Today, I'd like to invite you to sit down with me for a few minutes as we go through a small story, one that carries a big lesson. It's a story about health, about longevity, and about the simple yet miraculous things that can be found right in the heart of every family kitchen. Have you ever sat alone and suddenly wondered, why is it that some elderly folks in the countryside, well into their 90s, even reaching 100, still remain healthy and sharp, their skin glowing, eyes clear and bright, movements quick and agile, still able to read fine print and remember every grandchild's name? Meanwhile, others living in big cities, eating only the finest foods and taking all sorts of supplements, start to feel weary not long after 60, blood pressure fluctuating, memory fading, sleepless nights, and no appetite in the mornings. The answer, dear listeners, doesn't lie in wealth or material possessions. It lies in how we live each day, in every meal we choose, in how we care for our bodies, from each bite of rice to every night's sleep. There are secrets to long life that aren't found in clinics or in pages of prescriptions, but in a fragrant boiled egg, a warm cup of red date tea, a bowl of sweet pumpkin soup, or a few slices of ripe tomato neatly arranged on a plate. These seemingly small things quietly nourish the blood, enhance sleep, and bring joy and vitality to so many elderly people around us. And the wonderful thing is, these foods aren't far away. They're not imported, not hyped up superfoods with hefty price tags. They're in your backyard garden, at the village market, or right there in your fridge, familiar, close, and perhaps so familiar that we've forgotten their real value. In today's video, I'd like to explore with you 4 golden foods that promote longevity, recommended by Dr. Tuan, who has over 15 years of experience caring for the health of the elderly, and backed by both traditional Eastern medicine and modern science. These foods don't just help brighten the eyes, strengthen the heart, firm up the bones, and boost memory. They also improve sleep, prevent illness, and help maintain a cheerful, optimistic spirit in our golden years. And I believe that after listening, you'll find yourself saying, "Oh, how simple, and yet I never knew." So, without keeping you waiting any longer, let's begin with the first food, an unassuming but miraculous nutritional gem, once hailed by traditional physicians as a pearl that nourishes the blood and energy. In the modest meals of the past, this was always the go-to remedy whenever someone in the family fell ill or grew weak with age. Yes, it's none other than the humble chicken egg. Dear listeners, when I was little, I still remember the joy whenever someone in the house got to eat an egg. It wasn't some luxury dish, but back in those hard times, just a single boiled egg filling the air with its warm aroma felt like a miracle. For the sick, new mothers, or elders recovering from illness, a hot egg was always a tender gesture of care. After eating, the body felt warmer, the eyes clearer, the spirit noticeably lifted. And our grandparents weren't wrong. In traditional Eastern medicine, chicken eggs are considered sweet and neutral in nature, not hot or cold, making them especially suitable for the elderly. Ancient medical texts clearly noted, chicken eggs help boost energy, nourish the blood, strengthen the digestive system, calm the nerves, and sharpen the vision. You could say, a single small egg nourishes both body and mind. Modern medicine confirms this too. Chicken eggs are among the most nutrient-dense foods, rich not only in high-quality protein, but also vitamin A for the eyes, vitamin D for strong bones, vitamin E for heart health, and especially choline, a vital nutrient for the brain that enhances memory and helps prevent cognitive decline. Many studies have shown that older adults who eat 3 to 4 eggs per week have significantly better memory and mental clarity than those who don't, or who eat too few. I still remember the story of my old friend, Kay. In his younger days, he was known for being clever and dependable. Though his family wasn't well off, whenever they had eggs, he'd always save one for his elderly mother, saying, "Every day Mom lives longer is thanks to this egg." People thought he was joking, but later on, he nearly lost his life to a heart attack. Fortunately, his youngest daughter took meticulous care of him. Every morning, she boiled him an egg, cooked some porridge or simple boiled greens, and within just 3 months, his recovery was nothing short of miraculous. When he returned for a checkup, the doctor was stunned. His bad cholesterol had dropped, and his good cholesterol had shot up. His health stabilized, his skin glowed, and his voice brimmed with life. I once asked him how he recovered so fast, and he chuckled, "It's nothing much. Just quit drinking, sleep early, and make sure there's an egg every morning. Live another 10 years easy." It sounded simple, but the more I thought about it, the more it rang true. These days, people eat lavish, fatty meals with all kinds of delicacies, yet illnesses are more common than ever. Meanwhile, a humble boiled egg can save a life, just because the person eating it values it and uses it the right way. But like everything in life, too much of anything isn't good. For the elderly, boiled eggs are best, easy to digest, and don't raise bad fats like fried or oily preparations do. 3 to 4 eggs a week is a reasonable amount. Some healthy folks might manage one a day, but eating 2 or 3 in one sitting, especially alongside sausages and fatty meats, can actually do more harm than good. And especially for those with sensitive stomachs, raw or soft-boiled eggs should be eaten sparingly. From what I've experienced, a chicken egg, if eaten at the right time and in the right way, is worth more than any supplement. It nourishes not just the body, but also the spirit. Because eating an egg isn't just about the meal, it's an act of care, of wellness, of gratitude for one's body. You know, there are things so small we often overlook them, only to find they are the very things that quietly keep us alive the longest. A chicken egg from the market may cost just a few cents, but if used wisely, it can soothe the heart, keep our legs steady, eyes clear, and mind sharp. That's why, to me, a chicken egg isn't just food. It's a reminder that living healthily doesn't need to be complicated. Just eat in moderation, live in balance, and cherish every meal, and you're already walking the path to a long, wholesome life. But dear listeners, health doesn't just come from food. When night falls, the lights go out, the body lies still, but the mind won't rest, thoughts spinning and worries piling up. Then no matter how well you eat, it's hard to truly be healthy. That's why sleep is especially important for the elderly. And to sleep well, it's not always about taking medicine. There's a small, reddish-brown fruit, often mistaken for just a simple snack, that gently calms the mind and helps bring on deep, restful sleep. It's the red date. Dear listeners, among all the things that make up true health in old age, sleep is perhaps the most overlooked. Meals are easy to count, but sleepless nights often go unnoticed. Yet if you ask anyone who has suffered from insomnia for days on end, you'll hear them say the aches and pains are nothing compared to the dread of lying down, mind racing, heart pounding, eyes wide open staring at the ceiling in the still of night. There's an old saying from the ancients: the art of longevity begins with good sleep. And among the natural, gentle foods that help us drift into peaceful, quiet sleep, the red date is a truly effective and soothing sleep tonic. Small, humble, often resting quietly in dry goods bags at village markets or tucked into afternoon tea blends. But few people realize that red dates are actually a precious gift from nature, meant especially for the elderly. In Eastern medicine, they're called Dai Tao, sweet, warm in nature, entering the heart and spleen. Their effects? Nourishing the blood, calming the heart, soothing the spirit, meaning they enrich the blood, ease the heart, quiet the mind, and help foster deep, undisturbed sleep. In the old days, monks and elders often drank red date tea before bed or used red dates in herbal soups and nourishing stews. They believed red dates helped calm the mind, soothe the spirit, bring sweet dreams, and preserve memory through the years. Modern medicine doesn't deny this, either. Red dates are rich in vitamin C, B1, B2, iron, calcium, and especially flavonoids, a group of antioxidants that boost blood circulation, protect brain cells, and ease nervous tension. Some studies show that elderly people who drink warm red date tea daily experience noticeable improvements in sleep after just a week. They feel less anxious and more mentally clear. I witnessed this miraculous effect myself through the story of Mr. T, my former neighbor, a man in his 60s who used to be a teacher. After retirement, he was plagued with worries. His children's lives were unstable, money was tight. Every night, he stayed up until 2 or 3 in the morning, eyes sunken, body frail. Sleeping pills stopped working, and his mind was always foggy and exhausted. One day, during a chat, old Mr. Dow, a village elder well past 90, yet still sharp-eyed and upright, heard the story and told Mr. T. When your heart isn't at peace, your spirit becomes restless. How can you sleep like that? Go home, brew red dates into tea, and breathe deeply each night before bed. It won't work overnight, but if you do it regularly, you'll feel the change. His words were gentle, but sank deep, like the old village well. Mr. T took the advice. Each night, he simmered a few red dates with a bit of ginger and drank it warm. Amazingly, within just 1 week, he was able to sleep again. Not like a child in deep slumber, but at least no longer tossing and turning all night. The dark circles under his eyes faded, his voice grew clearer, and his mood softened. He'd tell anyone he met, "I can sleep now, thanks to red dates." Such a small thing, such a big blessing. Hearing that filled me with joy and emotion. Sometimes, what we truly need isn't expensive medicine, but something gentle, natural, that touches the deeper part within us, the part of the mind that longs to be soothed after so many years struggling through life. That's exactly what red dates offer. Quiet and unassuming, they calmly ease the nervous system, improve blood flow to the brain, and gently welcome sleep, deep and peaceful, like a soft breeze through the night. I also remember my cousin Han, who was well known in the village for being a chronic worrier. Her children and grandchildren were doing just fine, but she still fretted endlessly. One hadn't married yet, another was struggling with work, another had married someone not a good astrological match. Every little thing she carried in her heart, unable to sleep a single peaceful night. Her skin darkened, she was always tired, and she constantly forgot things. Even after a full month of prescription medication, nothing improved. In the end, it was her niece-in-law, who studied traditional medicine, who said something I'll never forget. "All Grandma needs is to sleep. I'll start making red date tea every day." From that day on, she swapped her afternoon tea for a warm cup of red date water and added a short morning walk to her routine. After just a few weeks, the change was astonishing. Her sleep returned, her complexion brightened, and her memory noticeably improved. I visited once, and she was telling detailed stories from 30 years ago, naming every person and every place without missing a beat. I sat there in quiet admiration, realizing that red dates aren't just a side snack to go with tea, but a gentle healer of the aging soul. That said, it's important to note, though red dates are incredibly beneficial, they're not for everyone in unlimited quantities. People with diabetes, internal heat, or frequent mouth ulcers should consume them in moderation, as red dates contain natural sugars that can spike blood sugar levels if overused. The best approach is to use 3 to 5 dates per serving, brewed into tea, or stewed with a bit of ginger, dried longan, or even bird's nest if you want to make something more luxurious. As the old saying goes, caring for the mind surpasses caring for the body. Keeping a peaceful heart is more precious than building a strong physique. And to truly calm the mind, nothing works better than a full, restful sleep. And to sleep peacefully, you don't need a miracle cure. Sometimes, all it takes is a warm cup of red date tea and a little stillness in your heart. To me, red dates aren't just dried fruit. They're an old companion, patiently waiting for us each night, to help us let go of our worries, to close our eyes without restlessness, to let our minds truly unwind. Every time I look at a dried red date, I'm reminded of nature's kindness, of the quiet gifts life gives to those who know how to pause, how to listen, how to love themselves. But dear listeners, beyond sleep, there's one more thing that older people must never neglect: our spleen, stomach, and digestive tract. These are the silent workers of the body, laboring for a lifetime, yet rarely receiving the care they deserve. To nourish them, there's a humble root, simple as the earth itself, but recognized by both Eastern and Western medicine as the commander of the kitchen in the art of healthy living. A food with a golden orange hue, plain in appearance, but powerful enough to boost energy, improve vision, cleanse toxins, and even help prevent cancer. That food is pumpkin, the hidden treasure of longevity in a bowl of homestyle soup. Dear listeners, if red dates are the gentle friend that lulls us to sleep, then pumpkin is the quiet general in the kitchen, tending to the rest of the body, from digestion and immunity to circulation, skin, and eyesight. Back in the days of hardship, when rice was mixed with cassava and sweet potatoes, pumpkin was a lifesaver. A home with pumpkins in the kitchen could rest easy through the season. Not because it was tasty, but because it was filling. Not because it was luxurious, but because it sustained life and strength. And yet few knew that beneath that thick orange skin lay a treasure trove of nourishment, praised in Eastern medicine and confirmed by the West as a true superfood. In traditional medicine, pumpkin is called nam kwa. It's sweet, warm in nature, and enters the spleen and lungs. Its main benefits? Strengthening the middle burner, detoxifying, and harmonizing the blood, meaning it supports digestion, clears out internal waste, regulates blood flow, and helps the body run smoothly, like a machine free from blockages. Our ancestors didn't have the scientific terms, but they understood the feeling. They believed eating pumpkin cooled the liver, brightened the eyes, eased sleep, soothed the stomach, and they were right. What about modern medicine? Scientists have found that pumpkin contains high levels of beta-carotene, the precursor to vitamin A, great for vision, skin, and immune strength. It also has lutein, which protects the eyes from blue light, as well as vitamin C and E to fight aging and cancer, fiber for digestion, and potassium to stabilize blood pressure. Older adults who eat pumpkin regularly often see improvements in blood pressure, clearer vision, softer skin, and better sleep. What's more, the antioxidants in pumpkin help destroy free radicals, the silent culprits behind aging, cancer, and organ decline. In other words, eating pumpkin is a gentle yet powerful way to slow down the signs of aging. I remember going for a routine checkup once, and the doctor told me I was showing signs of brain artery hardening, rising blood pressure, and irregular heartbeat. He said, if you want to live long, start by changing what's on your plate. Meat and fish won't save your blood vessels, but pumpkin might. At first, I was skeptical. Pumpkin, the very thing I used to avoid as a child? Every time my mother made pumpkin soup, I'd pretend I was full and sneak off to play. But because of the doctor's words, I gave it another try. This time for my health, not out of hunger. I asked my daughter to cook it a few times a week. Sometimes it was pumpkin soup with dried shrimp, sometimes just steamed pumpkin, and one day my grandchild even mashed it into a breakfast dish for me. After a few weeks of eating it regularly, I began to feel the difference. My body felt lighter, my blood pressure stabilized, my eyes didn't strain when reading the paper, and my once dry hands had softened. It made me realize, what we eat, we become. Eat gentle, wholesome things, and we become gentle, well. Pumpkin isn't just food, it's a way of life. A life of balance, of calm, and of deep gratitude for the humble, healing things that surround us. I still remember my old friend X, whom I ran into again after more than a decade away from our hometown. He used to be energetic and healthy, but now he looked frail, his skin yellowed, his eyes dull. When I asked, he said he was battling all kinds of conditions: high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, cataracts. His meals were all meat and fish, overly salty, with hardly a vegetable in sight, let alone pumpkin. I sat down and told him, my friend, pumpkin is dirt cheap at the market, yet worth more than medicine. It doesn't just improve vision, lower blood pressure, and detoxify. It even helps prevent liver and colon cancer. Eating it regularly does more good than a dozen supplements. He nodded and sighed. I've eaten everything under the sun, except the one thing I actually needed. And you know what? Just 100 to 200 grams of pumpkin a week can significantly reduce the risk of colon and liver cancer for people over 60. That's a scientifically proven fact. Yet I, too, once dismissed pumpkin, thought it was just a rustic dish, not worth paying attention to. One day, my neighbor heard someone say that pumpkin makes your skin look better. So she went all in, eating it every single day, from pumpkin soup to pumpkin porridge, even mashed pumpkin in place of rice. 2 months later, her skin turned yellow like turmeric. Alarmed, she went to the doctor. The doctor chuckled and said, "You've just got too much beta-carotene. Stop for a while, and your skin will return to normal." Funny, but also a lesson. No matter how good something is, overdoing it can backfire. As the ancients said, "Duong sin bat tam duk." To live well, don't overindulge. From that, I learned an important truth. Pumpkin is a healing food, but it must be eaten right. A few times a week, a small bowl each time, prepared simply, steamed, boiled, or in a gentle soup. Avoid deep frying or cooking it in lots of oil. High heat destroys its beneficial compounds and ruins this quiet gift from nature. Now, every time I hold a warm bowl of pumpkin soup, with its gentle fragrance rising with the steam, I feel a calm wash over me. No fuss, no fanfare, just a simple dish, but one that carries the wisdom of healthy, wholesome, long living. When I eat pumpkin now, it's no longer just to fill my belly, but to nourish my body, to strengthen my blood, sharpen my mind, and cultivate peace within. And dear listeners, there's another fruit, smaller than pumpkin, but just as vibrant. It's both a vegetable and a medicine, a beauty enhancer and a heart protector. A fruit so familiar it's often overlooked, but one whose bright red color doesn't just beautify a plate. It symbolizes vitality, life force, and a healthy heart. We're about to talk about the tomato, a little friend that brings radiant skin, clean blood vessels, and a youthful spirit to the elderly. The tomato, that brilliant red fruit, does more than brighten up a dish of vegetables. It nourishes the skin, the blood vessels, and the spirit of aging bodies. I've seen this firsthand among many of my older friends. Some are healthy, sharp, glowing with life. Others look worn out, sluggish, with dull skin and blurred eyes, even though they aren't much older than the rest. More and more, I've come to believe that an elder's appearance doesn't merely reflect age, but mirrors how they live, how they eat, and how they care for their body every single day. Tomatoes, though they may seem simple, are in fact a rare kind of fruit that's part vegetable, part medicine, and wholly nourishing, inside and out. In Eastern medicine, tomatoes are called te ho dao, cool in nature, mildly sweet and sour, and enter the liver, spleen, and stomach meridians. Their functions include clearing heat, nourishing yin, cooling the blood, and detoxifying. Perfect for people prone to internal heat, rashes, mouth ulcers, or poor digestion. Western medicine also holds tomatoes in high regard. They're packed with lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that helps prevent the formation of cancer cells, particularly in the prostate, breast, and lungs. They're also rich in vitamins A and C, potassium, all of which help cleanse the arteries, stabilize blood pressure, protect the heart, boost immunity, and nourish the skin from within. I still remember so clearly the image of Mrs. Cuc, an elderly woman from my neighborhood. She's 80 this year, and yet every time someone sees her, they can't help but exclaim, "Goodness, how is your skin so smooth? Why don't you have any wrinkles?" She would just smile gently and say, "I don't use cosmetics. I just eat tomatoes every day." At first, it sounded like she was joking. But as we talked more, I found out that for over 20 years, she had made tomatoes a vital part of her daily routine. Some days, she made tomato soup with vegetables. Other days, she tossed them into a salad with olive oil. Sometimes, she simply juiced ripe tomatoes to drink each morning. Nothing extravagant, nothing complicated, just consistency, moderation, and faith in her method. And the results speak for themselves. Rosy skin, consistent sleep, sharp memory, and hardly a trip to the doctor or need for medication. She said, "Some people nourish their skin with cream. I nourish my blood. Tomatoes are the lifeblood of the earth. When you eat them, they nourish your heart and liver. They don't just make you look good, they make you feel well inside." Every word she said stayed with me. Because the older I get, the more I realize, true health doesn't come from the extravagant, but from the familiar, the simple, if only we know how to value it and understand its worth. From that day on, I started incorporating tomatoes into my meals more regularly. At first, I juiced them each morning, one ripe tomato, seeds removed, with a few drops of honey. It was refreshing, mildly sweet. Then came tomato soup with leafy greens, steamed tomatoes, and tomato salad with olive oil prepared by my daughter. After just a month of doing this consistently, I noticed my skin felt less dry, my eyes didn't tire as quickly, and my sleep improved. The burning heat in my body and bouts of constipation I used to deal with almost disappeared. My body felt lighter, my mind more at ease, and every time I looked in the mirror, I no longer saw that sluggish, weary version of myself. During a checkup, the doctor even complimented me. My liver enzymes, blood pressure, and cholesterol levels were all in good shape. He said, "You've been eating a lot of tomatoes, haven't you? They really help clean the arteries and are excellent antioxidants. Older adults should eat them regularly." I was overjoyed. Joyful because something as simple as a tomato, if added to daily meals wisely, could bring such profound benefits to health in old age. But, just like any food, tomatoes need to be eaten the right way to deliver their full benefits. Those with sensitive stomachs shouldn't eat too many raw tomatoes. Cooking them helps release lycopene, the powerful antioxidant in tomatoes, since it's fat-soluble and only becomes fully available with heat. That's why dishes like scrambled eggs with tomatoes, tomato and spinach soup, or tomatoes stewed with fish are much more nourishing than eating them raw. If you prefer tomato juice, add a little healthy fat, like a dash of olive oil or a few slices of avocado, to help your body absorb the nutrients. And don't drink too much at once. 3 to 4 tomatoes spread across the week is enough to stay radiant and healthy. Someone once asked me, "Lou, don't you get tired of eating tomatoes all the time?" I just smiled and replied, if people can swallow bitter pills every day without complaint, then why not enjoy a cool glass of tomato juice each morning? I also remember my neighbor once ate a large plate of raw tomatoes every single day because someone told her they'd make her skin beautiful. In less than 2 weeks, she had bloating, chills, and digestive trouble. When she saw the doctor, he chuckled and said, "It's good to eat well, but eat right. Too much of anything can hurt you." That experience taught me this. True wellness is about knowing what's enough, what's just right, and what aligns with nature. Tomatoes don't need to be consumed in excess. They need to be eaten consistently, properly, and with a heart that's grateful. Since then, I no longer see tomatoes as just a vegetable. I see them as a faithful companion, a humble yet loyal friend. Every morning, when I see a plump red tomato in the basket, I know I've been given another chance to nourish my skin, my blood, and my spirit. Dear listeners, together, we've now journeyed through 4 golden foods: chicken eggs, red dates, pumpkin, and tomatoes. They're not miracle cures. They're not rare or expensive delicacies. But what makes them special is their simplicity, their safety, and their quiet power to nourish the body in the most gentle, lasting way. They help us get a better night's sleep, wake up refreshed, enjoy healthy skin, clear eyes, a sharp mind, and a steady heartbeat. But beyond their physical benefits, these 4 humble foods teach us a profound life philosophy, that sometimes the most precious things aren't the complicated ones, but the simple acts we repeat each day with love and awareness. A fragrant boiled egg, a few red dates simmered into tea, a warm bowl of pumpkin soup, a refreshing glass of tomato juice. These aren't just foods. They are threads connecting us to our bodies, to the memories of our elders, and to ancient wisdom of living well that so many have forgotten in today's fast-paced world. I've seen people chase after expensive supplements and imported health products, believing that simply taking them would restore their vitality. Yet they remain tired, sleepless, with high blood pressure, rising cholesterol, and fading memory. It wasn't until they stopped and returned to the basics that their health began to return. So please, dear listeners, don't underestimate the little things. A single egg, a tomato, a piece of pumpkin, a cup of date tea. They may seem ordinary, but if we learn to appreciate them, eat them properly, regularly, and with gratitude, they become the most precious medicine nature has quietly given us. What matters is not what we eat once, but what we eat every day. Not how expensive something is, but whether we nourish our bodies with consistency, understanding, and a peaceful heart. And from these 4 simple foods, I hope you'll take away what I once had to learn myself. That living well isn't difficult. That longevity isn't about luck. It lies in the small choices we make each day, when we pick up our chopsticks, when we cook our meals, when we choose what to feed ourselves and our loved ones. If there's one message I want to leave with you today, it's this. Slow down a little. Chew a little more mindfully. Pay a bit more attention to your body. And listen to what it's quietly asking for. A meal is not just to fill the belly. It's a moment of healing. A bite of egg, a spoon of soup, a sip of warm date tea could be the very first step toward a long life, a strong body, and a heart full of joy surrounded by family. If you found today's message helpful, please hit the subscribe button on Daily Health Advice, give us a like, and share this video with your loved ones. Because health is the most precious gift, not just to keep for ourselves, but to pass on to our families, neighbors, and communities, so we can all live long, live joyfully, and live peacefully together. I wish you a day as gentle as an autumn breeze, as warm as a bowl of homemade soup, and as steady as a healthy heart beating for the simple joys of this life.